Ня-ня-ня-ня-ня-ня-ня-ня.
Ня-ня-ня-ня-ня-ня-ня.
А вот и всем привет, друзья. Воссоединение дуэта. Частичное, конечно, но тем не менее. Геншин импакт, серия номер 42. Вроде бы,
да.
И сегодня мы немножко разбавляем Лигу заданием Легенд Альбедо. Мальчишка, который выполнен на основе первой ивентовая легендарочка. Чувак, который прикольный, забавный.
Мне не поворачивается язык называть Альбедо мальчишкой, скорее дедечка.
Да, скорее какое-то, знаешь, семечко. Что у нас по серии? У нас будет следующая серия с подписчиком, снова с другим подписчиком. Будем в разломе подземной шахты, в разломе шататься, ходить. Потом будет серия чисто про задание мира Лигу, и мы наконец-то полетим, точнее поплывем в Инадзуму. Ты смотри, кто стоит, Розария.
Розария. Соскучилась за нами.
Так, у нас звук-то есть. А ты откуда тут взялась?
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to attend to.
Oh, but this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Она злая.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
Ты слюешь, что ли?
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd?
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you.
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting of other people. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Чего приходил, называется.
Забрать хотела.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making people believe anything she wants.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
А у тебя что, с памятью проблемы, что ли?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain. Or a trickster at best.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm the trickster?
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you. The honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Да ты что, Розария?
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said
Так.
there were elemental traces.
Розария какая-то
They
мутная.
should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
У нас была еще одна катсцена в начале, которую мы пропустили, потому что я хотел все же сделать густую смолу возле алхимии, а там оказался Сахарот. Я поперся не в Мондштадт, не по Лигу, а в Мондштадт. Комментарии тоже ваши читаем. За актив спасибо. На момент, когда я начинал эту серию записывать, на канале было 666 подписчиков. Как и обещал, к 1000 подписчикам будет у нас розыгрыш бесплатной луны на ваш аккаунт. Так что на Телеграм подписывайтесь туда, сюда.
Если она все еще будет актуальна и не уберут эту систему.
You know, little pixie,
Да,
your
вряд ли уберут.
ability to appear and disappear at will is
Нам это надо.
very interesting.
Там еще одна была.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Подеремся с ними.
Попробуй. Ты куда?
Погреться. И Кею взять в отряд, потому что там молотобойщик электрический. Блин, Лизу прокачал. Теперь убирать ее надо. Ай, нет. Блин, ну на время пока. Иди погуляй. Там купи себе мороженое. Котлеты купи. Они сундук не охраняют, ничего не охраняют. Ну, просто убить, почему бы и нет.
Ну, у них когда-то был сундук. Ну, вон там еще сундук, кстати, валяется слева, видел? Его пропустили.
А у них ничего нет?
Сейчас, по идее, нет.
Подойдите в очко. Так, это зеркальная дамочка.
И она крио.
Ну, зеркальная дамочка криво.
Let the show begin.
У меня поприятнее ехать.
Come a little closer.
Да, ты какая-то мерзкая вообще. Ну, ее щит раздражает меня.
Красивый.
Очень красивый. Щит сломай, дурачок.
Это Боба. Попробуй его.
Ready, steady, go! Nice and spicy. Really? Don't hit me!
Ну, враги уже стали посильнее. Что ты?
Boba, get them! Eat this!
Come a little closer.
This mold will be frozen in time if you cool it.
At the frying pan, into the fire!
А?
Не замерзаю.
Я не слепой.
Еще и эта хрень здесь.
You're in for a little shock.
Nice and spicy!
По какому основанию она себе щит устанавливает?
В основании силы, власти.
Come a little
Dodge this.
Что хочешь думать?
Ну, не все так плохо на самом деле сейчас пока что. Ты вот попрыгунья вообще не в тему. Коли она появилась здесь.
Freeze.
Не такие опасные копья.
Мне кажется, завтра будет под выпуск следующий. Мы, наверное, что-нибудь сделаем с этим.
Let's dance! Go,
Как
Boba!
называется?
Go, Boba! Get them!
Что-нибудь с персонажами сделаем снова. Покачаем. Все очень плохо.
Ура, ура, ура.
I have some for you
С
too.
другой стороны тоже сундук. Это можно искатели сокровищ.
Oh my.
Наверное, пройдем мимо этих сундуков пока что. Иначе мы поздыхаем все. Быстро и незамедлительно. Настя почти выздоровела уже.
Почти.
А врачи
Тяжело.
хуесосы.
Ну не все, конечно.
Разумеется.
Скорбиться. Львиная доля населения человечества. Что тоже будем делать?
Getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm alright. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long
Как не раздражает, когда пишут, нельзя переключить персонажа сейчас. Какого черта нельзя?
There's more to being a sister in the Favonian
Уберите эту
church
штуку,
than I
пожалуйста.
realized.
Б. Бесит, когда тебе что-то там рассказывают, очень важное для сюжета, а ты это не можешь прочесть, потому что...
Почему они слабее, чем в артериях враги? Что за ерунда?
At the frying pan, into
Пока артерии проходили до записи, враги спавнились, когда хотели спавнились. Вообще охренели, сволочи.
Да.
У меня уже там жопа страшно горела прям.
Почти сдох и оп, обратно. Опять почти сдох, ушел за свою зону, сам же отошел и обратно заспавнился.
Путешественник у нас, если что... Да что ж ты все время мерзнешь. Путешественник у нас, если что, сегодня аниме, потому что Гео ГГ я ненавижу.
Может, пойдем просто сделаем его дендро? Эпик фейл.
Да идти ты. Так. Элементальные следы. Мы ищем Альбедо. Такого себе мальчугана. Желаю сундук.
Летает.
Вижу.
Не долетишь. Лажа.
Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churls? Isn't he in danger? Looks like we
Зато
started.
они заметили нас.
Да.
Enough talk.
Пока мы не
Let's
пришли,
take
все
him
было
out a picture
нормально.
first.
Человек
Он
себе
явно
рисовал.
что-то как-то разбирается с ними общаться. Ой, как красиво. Давай, африканец. Господи, там столько...
Who are you? Why did you alarm them?
Они сами.
Почему мы с тобой не знакомы? Там же ивент был.
Thank the gods I'd already completed my
Ну,
painting.
ивент есть ивент.
Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly trails unfinished.
What's up with painting hilly churls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Wow, look at the detail. But some of it seems to have been done in a
Это
hurry.
набросок.
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Ugh, something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
Да, давай, иди отсюда.
What?
Таксичка.
Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! Ugh, what a weirdo.
Пубертатная язва.
So
Точно.
Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things.
Даже удивительно, что Гомункул так соображает хорошо.
I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from afar. From an excellent...
Гомункул не должен соображать.
If I could procure your assistance, I think my research
Ну,
would benefit
это невероятно
enormously.
создать разумное существо из хер пойми чего. Ну ладно.
Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin? The essence of life?
Whoa, you want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration would be better than trying to explain. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
Белая.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world, helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to
Ты
sprout.
как твой создатель. Натворишь делов, будет второй Кенриарх. А?
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
Меня немножко удивляет, что никого не удивляет, что ГГ... Что такое?
Мне показалось, что кошка плюнула твои тапочки.
Нет,
It's
это мои
possible.
тапочки.
But I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Так, ну перед тем, как... Там же эти самые были. Ты шла.
Альбедо and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Почему у нее лицо такое розовое? Она именно розовая. Почему? Она единственная с таким цветом кожи. Она обмороженная. Серьезно, блин.
Ты когда успел замерзнуть? Снежочек, друзья. Драконий хребет. Холод. Постоянный мороз.
Постоянный. И это хорошо. В отличие от современной погоды, ни черта не понятно. У нас, например, уже весна. А вчера еще шел снег. Красивый такой.
Да. Мы, кстати, купили сегодня...
Ёлочка, которая пихта.
Пихта. Да, пихту купили. Колючая, как сучка.
Сучка должна быть колючей.
Ну, в общем, колючая, как...
Как положено быть пихте.
Да. Пипец, блин. Потратил на вас ульту. Чтобы обоих выкинуть, а они не выкинулись.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
А где наш главный герой? Что за говно? Мне
Его выбросило.
I don't know, but I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening,
Он на ГГ смотрит, а ГГ там нет.
Сдох ГГ.
Я не удивлюсь, если он реально сдох.
Он должен быть здесь.
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become?
С какого подземелья ты это говоришь?
Покажите общий план, пожалуйста. Мне интересно, что там ГГ. Он лежит на земле?
Его вообще нет, где он? Он там валялся, должен был бы где-то.
Let's just say I occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a
А, вон он
vision.
стоит.
Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person. How you're able to freely manipulate
Куда ты
elemental power
с
is
кустом
something I'd
разговариваешь,
like to
да?
ascertain. I've got a few
тебе.
questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have
Я
any
такой,
extra
Вот
organs?
Я постою.
A second heart? A
Класс
fourth
вообще.
stomach?
Почему,
Things of that
когда
nature.
идет кат-сцена, нас могут ударить? Нас могут вообще что угодно с нами
Fascinating.
сделать нахрен. Что это
And
происходит?
this floating child
И
is...
вообще все, что ты
connected to
сделал
your body
до
in
кат-сцены, если оно имеет какой-то промежуток времени активности, и оно все еще активно во время катсцены, оно все еще активно. Почему оно не исчезает? Это,
Ну,
конечно, очаровательно.
Ну ладно,
но
давай,
странно.
тут интересный сюжет.
Хорошо, я помолчу.
Stupid question. Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springfield to flow backwards. No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey, how would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Ученый.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge,
Вот
we
стоит
could
Альбедо,
bring in
разговаривает
6
с Павел.
Osiris.
И как будто бы ничего и не случилось. Как будто так и надо. Все правильно.
Well, prepare yourself.
Где там и не нужен.
The slimes will be here any moment.
Сейчас будем драться со слаймом, чтобы доказать этому чувачку, что мы угон на монету. Чё, блин?
Может, возьмем вон ту красную штуку.
Ну, мы подкачали персонажей, уровень, в принципе, стало как-то более, ну, получше. Тут у меня хп нет.
У кого? У семьи?
У всех. Переключ хаос. Все, конец вам.
Что-то как-то не ощутила мощи перчика.
Let's spark things up. Come a little closer. Blitz.
А, они еще выжили, прикинь. Ну, кстати, 2000 шмаляет уже хорошо. Где Таня заходит ультой 44 тысячи. И минус персонаж. Да ты задолбался своим щитом. Ты попрыгунчик. Подходим.
You're in for a little shock.
Перчик успел взять.
Great work.
Полезно.
Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow? How do you test that?
It's very
Нас
simple.
обследуют, короче, в этой
I can
серии.
use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power.
Так лучше? Или хуже?
Не знаю.
If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness.
Так жарко.
No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a
Тупо
warning.
левому чуваку
If an
доверяемся.
internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign. Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst.
Как и всегда, будем искать сейчас какие-то ингредиенты.
It's a type of ore known as star silver.
Повезло тебе,
But
что она у меня
unfortunately,
есть.
not all of it is suitable.
Специальные,
I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the
специальная
way.
руда, специальный месяц.
I'll point out any likely contenders.
Никак
All
иначе.
going to plan. We should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
А нет, нет, это.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but let's keep our eyes open.
Всем в оба искать руду.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
Сила дружбы и жертвы. Мило.
Могли ж не заметить меня.
Нет.
Что это за какашка?
Вон там крыло.
This one. Usable with a bit of polish.
Тут их довольно много. Зачем?
Let's dance.
What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
Пидорасы ёбаные.
We can do it.
Вообще закошмарил.
Я до сих пор помню, где он находится, его лагерь, так сказать.
Ты еще кто не помнил.
О, какой-то чувачок. Его раб,
This is my
наверное.
campsite.
Это Тимей.
I've added the materials we collected to the
Тиме.
concoction.
Или Тимей.
While we are
Тиме, это
waiting,
пацанчик.
have a look over here.
Как ему не холодно, я не понимаю.
My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data. You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes. Consider, you don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either, yet following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregis vine, or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. I'll slow down a bit next time. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and find me.
Интересненько. Интересненько. Интересненько, друзья.
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times. And breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Что, пить его так, что ли, придется?
Хлебай.
Какой?
Это явно не в еде. По-моему, надо просто подойти к нему. А, вот она. Горим.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What happened to him?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction is to be expected. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drink some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong of me to place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the undesirable variety. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you.
Геодезия, друзья. Наука Альбедо. Альбедатика.
People are the same. They can understand, empathize, encourage, and support one another. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. The essence of their life is fundamentally different. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyro-regisvine or an Eye of the Storm. To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your elemental power without fear. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my judgment.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Прислуживается.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What Paimon meant to say was, that's the
Suck
spirit?
up.
Mr. Albedo, say something.
Какой боевитый юноша.
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to... If you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
Ну, я осмотрюсь. Надо изучить тебя. Кажется, это алхимический стол, но на нем несколько зелий и приспособлений. Неужели с их помощью Альбедо познает мир? Ничего, если его потрогать или нет? Морковку я возьму. На доске развешаны результаты экспериментов. Ничего не понятно. По крайней мере, ясно, что эксперимент продвигается. Сливочное масло, прикинь. Здесь много книг и склянок. Кажется, владелец этого стеллажа имеет привычку одновременно читать книги и изучать зелья.
Here comes Albedo. Let's go see him.
Повернись.
back.
поворачивается.
Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed to find an everyday use for them. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any unique abilities?
Да, я
That
лучше
don't exist in
всех
this
ищу
world?
вещи, доставляю все-таки сахарки. Готовлю лучше всех.
I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next experiment. No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort? Well, can't be helped, I suppose.
What's with the disappointment? Isn't that, like, impossible?
Да уж.
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, channeling your power into the ingredients themselves. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation.
Дубликация.
I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others find surprising.
Да что ты
Anyway.
говоришь?
Why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat? I've just finished preparing the recipe.
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more mad scientist stuff.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. It does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves. Good buddies are always on the same page.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the results. If there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus can finish the last morsels.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem.
Ну, жрешь ты, конечно,
Channel elemental power into the food.
много.
Maybe try the willpower thing again. Where does it get these ideas from anyway? Let's just do it the old-fashioned way.
Солнечная рыба.
That was fast. An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless... could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your unique abilities?
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding herbs and spices, you know.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago. But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good...
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of misplacing a batch. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and electrohypostasis powder.
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would save me the hassle. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, lost property would be a thing of the past. I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
Так, я сделаю скриншотик для превью. Он так стоит, такой типа: иди ищи.
Guess we'd better take a look. Oh yeah, you could use elemental sight. This must be electrohypostasis powder. The extract of an animal crystal fly can only be
Как долго
animal
мы искали
elemental
всё.
energy, right? This has gotta be it.
Да-да, пойман, все правильно, молодец,
You
умница,
managed to find
догадалась.
them. Incredible.
1000
1,000
благодарностей.
thanks. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what allowed you to locate the items and find me here on the mountains, correct?
Yep. Guess it does sort of count as a superpower, huh?
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not unheard of in Teyvat. Only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit to my research.
You mean we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back,
Видишь, у него
I
на
call
шее
this a very
отпечаток.
worthwhile experiment.
Здесь такая же копия, только без этого отпечатка. Плохая копия,
Почему?
который хочет его убить.
У него нет отпечатка.
Видимо, он не закончившийся эксперимент.
Но если
I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental
А,
traces.
он типа папоротник. Крю-папоротник.
А, так вот что это было.
Да.
Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there. So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding with an experiment. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
Still in one piece.
Неугомонный.
41 ранг приключения, тем не менее. Стоять. Она жрет яблоко, да?
Да. Ой, прошу прощения.
Ого, как высоко. Там, 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 та-ра-та, та, 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 та.
Очень приятно.
None of this will go to waste.
Это шкатулка для...
Хуйня, блядь,
Тышки,
короче.
чтобы открыть.
Извините за мат, но я себя обманул.
Да уж.
Он продолжает.
Извергать из себя перчики. Почему там все летает? Лоу-стрита нет, а все
Nice and
летает.
spicy.
Потому что это тут Селестия, короче, что-то наделала. Небесный шип же летает. Это их штука. Так. Ух ты. Красиво.
You want us to jump from...
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Нефритовый дворец.
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational to us. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might
Например,
find the whole
Эоле
thing rather
понравится.
refreshing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment.
За дело.
Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the results.
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming,
Что
you
такое?
gonna dive in with us?
Пайман спрашивает, чем будет заниматься Альбедо? Он там,
Unless you're thinking of conducting
составлять-
competitive research?
Oh,
В общем, подводить итоги, делать моральную
forget
поддержку.
Paimon
там,
said
туда-сюда.
anything.
А вот такое. Это имеет смысл, конечно. Дальше я забыла, что мы говорили, потому что я не читала.
Great work.
много.
I've never seen a performance quite like it. Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Mondstadt.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat.
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little. But anyway, if it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization you belong to. If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the
Вот
captivating
если бы Задание
insights.
Легенд Альбедо было
would be
после, к
something to
примеру,
savor
Инадзумы
again
или
and
Фонтейна, то мы бы знали, что путешественник может слышать чьи-то желания.
But how does this help your research?
Чьи
You've
желания?
helped me to unravel many of the
Людей.
problems that were holding it back.
В
When we
Инадзуме
return
было
to the
такое
campsite, I should be
мудрость
able to show you
от
something interesting.
Сумера, и в Фонтейне вода звала его. Это я спойлерю.
Зову тебя.
I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size of our own. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but such feelings are inevitably fleeting in nature. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. As the unknown transitions into the realm of scientific understanding, the feeling of enlightenment is lost. All these things that start out as
Ну, он
objects of
погружен в свое
fascination
дело, он прям
end up possessing the prosaic
кайфует от того, что
mundinity
он
of a
делает.
sunsetia or a sweet flower. They
Кто,
cease
Альбедо?
to be
Не
noteworthy.
знаю.
Он горит своим делом буквально.
Но он
That's why you
бундит
wanted
как
to
дед.
keep those hilly churros? Because you got to see something new and interesting in the differences between them?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part,
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like some basic draft of a sketch?
of course not. You have been of great assistance to me, and I will remember this friendship for a lifetime. Now, before we head back to the campsite, there's one more experiment. Follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
Пойдемте в руины. 422 метра до руин. О, ну давайте пройдемте пешком.
Protect us.
Подхилим путешественника.
Извините.
Бутылка упала.
Прошу прощения.
Красивая локация, драконий хребет. И...
Смотри, там светится кое-что. Повернись направо. Видишь? Левее, чуть-чуть еще левее. Вон, видишь?
О, он высоко.
И далеко. Я салфеточку выкинула.
Угу. Ну, вот окошко.
Нет. Где она вообще?
Не знаю.
Потерялась.
Такое туманище.
Ну как елку поставила, которая туя, которая пихта. Пихта, туя.
Да.
Туя. Туя?
Пихта.
Пихта. Короче, когда пихту поставили, кошка все с ума сошла от нее. Она все нижние ветки решила обломать. Все, что только можно сделать. Все, что в ее силах.
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities, much as we did for the physical test. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your findings. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, you should be able to activate the mechanism in the center.
Заметь.
As with the physical test, there are no restrictions.
На механизме
Everything you
печать
do is an
Генри.
action I wish to observe. A tried and tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. Start wherever you like.
Так.
Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Ну, надо ж поверху, конечно. И так вот пойти еще сюда.
You've been a naughty boy. Surrender and will be gentle.
Wind blade!
Yep.
Boba, get them!
Тварь тупая, сука. Конечно же он... Так, подожди. Это к этому не относится.
Посмотри сзади.
Ну, головоломки-то уже что-то поинтереснее. Если, конечно, не Синадзума, друзья. Фига себе, ты ушла далеко. Какая-то птичка кричала, слышала?
Конечно. Ну, конечно. Просто привязали.
Кстати, Сян Лин качнул оружие, сделал новый прототип Звездный блеск. С установой энергии, используя ритуальный навык, увеличит урон обычной заряженной атаки на 8%. Иди ты нахуй, понял? Прошу прощения за мат,
Ты такой
но
дерганный.
мне эти крио пира маги скотобазы надоели.
Come a little closer.
Как без интернета работает Телеграм? Конец себе.
Blitz.
Аривидерчи. Так, теперь разбираем с этой загадкой.
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution.
Чего? Залезь, пожалуйста.
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism.
Изи,
Exactly
просто
what will
изички.
happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out.
Hey,
Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased.
Побазарь.
What's this?
Что это? Непонятные
To the
знаки.
best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over Teyvat, but they've never given up their secrets. There's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why they should ever have come to rest here, a true mystery. Let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail after our research.
another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery
Пайман
this, weird
нетерпеливый,
experiment
согласись.
that. It'd be nice to get some cool
Кто
results
за
for
то,
once.
чтобы Пайман была терпеливой? Ставьте хэштег в комментариях. Пайман терпи.
Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is too small to mention. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to seeing the results of all this brain ache. Unless you can think of anything better to do, let's head back to the campsite.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on.
Да что
here.
тебе от нас надо? Ты что, дура что ли какая-то?
You didn't leave the mountain?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Альбедо have been up to. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger, drinking anonymous potions, participating in all kinds of strange experiments? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps you were colluding from the beginning.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outlander. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something more sinister.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into Mondstadt.
So, what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, that's good. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, seems like there's nothing more to them.
Конечно, не просто светится.
But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is now a location of interest. Regular patrols
Розария,
should be set up here.
ты какая-то странная.
Now then, all things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat. Which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Альбедо, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh. Never mind her. Let's go see
Да,
Альбедо.
ну ее реально, она какая-то...
We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look.
Что находилось под водой? А, это с прошлой... 500 метров до точки его логова, где он Жрет, срет.
Вряд ли он там это делает.
Качаем уровни, качаем как можно больше. Качаем сначала персов основных, которые мы играем в основном. А потом уже покачаем Кали, там, Чун Юнь. Кто у нас там еще есть? Ферминелли, Нет, Ноэль. Фисель. Привет.
You're back. Good timing. I've just... You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? I wouldn't worry. She's just doing her job. Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is you're very much like a human from this world.
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should be taken for granted. Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But it's arguably a small miracle. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. But after I observed you, I had another idea.
У него какие-то слишком
Imitating
большие
you helped to
глаза.
inspire my alchemy.
Он как будто вот так вот смотрит.
And
на
so,
тебя.
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
the transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Теперь бы пожрать.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. You've got Paimon to look after you. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, it certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom. I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again? Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. Those born of earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, can I rely on you to stop me?
Смотри, тут даже в сосуде маленький зачаток, зародыш человека.
Много вопросов у меня к концовочке. Она получилась какая-то такая, знаете, открытая.
Даже же похоже на то, что в разломе мы видим.
А, он уже выпил ее, скурил, короче, походу.
Нет, ничего.
Да, такая миссия довольно... Вопросы, много вопросов. Скорее всего, он имеет в виду то, что он же все-таки тоже, как бы, ну, получается, опыт кенриархцев. Эти гончие разрывы, которые вот эти монстрики, свирепые монстры, вышедшие из очка и начали всем давать пирожка. Это же как бы тоже ребята, результаты алхимии. А вот он имеет в виду, что потеряет на свою власть и разрушит все.
Тушеное мясо.
Где?
Внизу.
Ого, ингредиентов достаточно. Подготовим немножко и закончим серию на сегодня. Интересное задание. Сюжет хорошенький. Я бы сказал, веселенький. Тупенький. И ни одной кат-сцены. Это, считаю, неприемлемо. Видимо, Розария...
Но она самая адекватная, потому что это ненормально так слепо доверять непонятным людям.
Это, конечно, да, но... Подозревать нас в чем-то, это то как-то туповато.
Нет, это нормально.
Почему нам про осадок ничего не сказал он?
Потому что ему не хотелось, видимо. Ты интригу держит, чел.
Козел. Тушеное мясо. Нам нужно тушеное мясо, потому что пожрать надо. Иметь. Иначе отымеют нас.
Барбара чуть-чуть не справляется.
В идеале бы, когда вот у нас сколько у нас сейчас примагемов?
Много.
16 тысяч. Это сколько у нас круточек получается? Давайте посмотрим. Соточка. Красивое число, я считаю. 100 примагемов и все. 100 примагемов. 100 примагемесов. И что дальше? А, ну...
100 молитв.
Собираем на какое-нибудь обновление грядущее, которое будет. У нас еще, конечно, много чего не исследовано. Хотя Мондштадт уже такой плюс-минус закрыт.
Такое себе.
Вот походите, может быть, в облачном море, побольше вот в ямшовом лесу. Да, везде походить можно будет. Серию сделать часика на 2. Ну-ка, награды ранга приключений, пожалуйста, мне.
Неужели ты скоро пойдешь в подземелье и будешь делать им нормальные артефакты?
Я жду этого, капец как. А вот и ссылка на плейлист описания. А вот и подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки. Телеграм-канал подписывайтесь. Розыгрыш скоро, прям скоро. Комментарии пишите, лайки, шмайки, чпайки. Всем удачи, всем пока.